guys, it's Clint and Shell.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, you guys know, just if you guys have been on the fence about getting an ink blender, you guys really need to do it, because look at these. I mean, they are absolutely gorgeous. I don't think I even have a single one that's white. A lot of black. This is called spalted, I think. He said the black is just the start of rotting, whatever that word.
Decomposing?
Well, not decomposing, but anyway. So this one's got tons of black in it. So.
And if they have, what do you do if they have a crack in them?
Oh, I fill them. I have a brown. Well, I have super glue. It's a wood super glue. And so I put it in the cracks. If it's super fine,
and it actually looks really
it does. It really does look good. If I do, I have clear, and then I also have a brown and amber, and I use it mainly. But
I just wanted to let people know.
Well, and if they're like, this one's got a really tiny crack, and
but he does fill them.
I do fill them, yeah. That one's really huge, but that's on the trash side anyway. So, but this one's got a lot of that black in them too. So, but yeah, there's tons of them in here. I think I had 27, I think, or something like that. But that's not what the video is for today. This is my when I was doing this, I decided to make a seam ripper, and I've been wanting to do one for a long time, and I had another piece of wood saved out, and then I got to looking at this one, and it's got a lot of, boy, I ain't got much light over here.
Last time I just turned on that light.
I will.
And then just shined it.
This one's got a lot of I call it cat's eye in it, and it's got 3 knots. So this is where I'm going to do my stop cut. I went ahead and drilled, and I have this. I bought this. This is a center finder, and you just put your thing on it and you draw your lines. Well, it's not right at all. I mean, this does not find the center. I thought, well, maybe my wood's not round, but I mean, I did it on several of them, and it still hasn't found the center. So something's not quite right about it. But I did get it enough, close enough on this one. So, and that's how it fits in there. But this is my thumb over this knot, so I'm going to have it set in.
What are you making here?
A seam ripper. So let me pause the video and turn on the light, because it's really not bright. Okay, so what I did is I'm going to narrow this down, not maybe right about there. And it doesn't sound right. And but so if my thumb's here, sorry, she's doing paperwork, and probably about right here would be my finger, right in here. So let me get my pencil. So I'm gonna make my finger spot about right there. Yeah, okay. And I do have my safety glove on it. I do need these. I mean, I think it's really a good idea to always use them. I have my old one, and one time, because I carve with a longer knife, and I actually got my glove, it went in here and cut it all the way to here, but it didn't cut my finger. So and the one thing about knots is they are harder than the other wood. So the other wood, since it's softer, it sands deeper. So that's one reason why I wanted to put that on my thumb right there. So so let me go. You always want to do some really tiny. You don't need to get too carried away and get these long, huge chips when you're carving.
Did you talk about the knife?
Well, this is a Mike Shipley knife, and I stroke it quite a bit to keep it sharp. I have a stroking stone, well, a compound. So also when you're carving these knots, they get really they're really hard, but if you got to be really careful with them, or it will really go deep like that. I mean, if that's one reason why you just want to keep it shallow. I think probably this side's going to be probably deeper. And a lot of this I'll just sand on the lathe. It's easier for me to do it, but like I said, it's not going to be a uniform sanding because with the knots and the shape I put into it. Now I get my knives and my wood burning stuff from Mountain Wood Carvers in Estes Park, Colorado, which is they call it the gateway to Rocky Mountain National Park. I've been there for years. So I grew up on the Front Range, so I've been to Estes Park tons of times. So, and I'm doing my stop cut for this like that. So come in. And once you get it, you know, going, so just gotta watch that, your grain, but especially the knots. If you get too carried away, it will take quite a bit of a cut out of it, and it takes forever to sand it. And there is a different there are pairing cuts, which would be like this. I don't usually do it. Sometimes I do. It's easier for me to just try to turn my work around. But I haven't really done any carving except for my ink blenders, but for a long time. Once I get it fairly close, it will sand down pretty easy and get the shape in it a little bit more. And it's just a beautiful piece of wood. I really did get some just beautiful wood this time. Haven't really had a chance to go back to the hills to get more aspen, but I will. I still have quite a bit cut for the blank size, so I have the length of it. Because I'm going to use these, a lot of these I'm going to use for buttons. Since they're so pretty, I'm going to sand buttons. I'm getting a whole pile of them, so. Oh yeah, see huh?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's just right. I'm not too sure how deep I'll go. I mean, like I said, so hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Oh, sorry, I'm not having a very good day. My back is really bad. I know Shell told you I had a flat tire, and it takes everything out of me. And then I went to Big O, and I love Big O. I've gone to Big O since I've lived here, and I know the owner really well, and just good people. And went and told him, I called him up and told him to set up a day to have the front end worked on. I was hoping it was going to be Thursday because I have a locate in Cortez, but it's not till next Tuesday. And I said, well, I'll come in first thing that Tuesday morning or Thursday morning and just have them do a tire on it until so I ended up, I called my back and I said, I just need to come in. I said, I've already put my spare on the car and it doesn't look any better than my one I just blew out. I said, I'll be down there. He said, just come down and and I went ahead and was just going to have one tire put on, and then I said, well, just go ahead and put all 4 on it. And I just didn't want to waste their time, you know. So I got 4 new tires on it, and then we'll have the front end worked on it Tuesday. But I was worried I wouldn't make it back to the house. That was kind of...
And then you wouldn't have a spare.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had a spare, and I was just picturing me side of the road, and we don't have the 4Runner, so Shell couldn't do nothing. So I thought, no, you know, it's best just to go do it now and instead of later. So I got a private in Cortez to do Thursday, and that's why I was thinking, well, if I could kind of schedule it for then. But they're really good guys, and I think the world of them. They just do such good work. I never have to worry about taking advantage or anything. They're just good people. But I know they were really short-handed. So I do have 4 new tires on that Toyota, which means now we can go up to the mountains and hunt. Take you guys with us and hunt mushrooms, and because my tires were getting pretty bad, and I really didn't want to get a rock hit up in the mountains. So have the front end work, and we're going to be up taking you guys up in the hills and
taking you to
yeah,
look for mushrooms.
Look for mushrooms,
We
picking
have
raspberries.
This time of year, we're really busy.
Yeah, we are.
Doing stuff outside.
And now I did my stop cut. I went really deep. I thought I went.
What's a stop cut?
Well,
You want to quit?
yeah, I mean, you usually do. You can do stop cuts like this. That's where you don't want to go past it, and it's just easier for me to use the saw to do it than try to get, because it makes your hand hurt. Because if you guys don't notice, I've got really bad arthritis, especially my thumb joints, and so it's pretty painful. So that kind of stop cuts do make your hands hurt a little bit more. So now I didn't know what to do with this part of it, so I'm going to have it come down into a, you know, a point kind of thing for the rear of it. I'm also thinking about making awls like this, because you can actually, this piece, they also have another one that's like a pick, almost like an awl. So I might end up getting some of them too, but yeah, it stops your knife from going any further. But when you're doing this with the knots, you do want to, because it will make it splinter. I guess that's the best way to. I found that with the cedars too. With the being a milled wood, that a lot of times when you're carving it, if you're not careful, it goes really super deep, and you don't really want that. And so I just look here for the depth, so I can tell about how uniform my cut, the dimensions are when I'm carving around it. That way I know how fairly round it's going to be. A lot of this I'll have to sand on my lathe. Just it's easier to sand. It doesn't wear your hands out as much, As I used to do my ink blenders totally by hand. So this is the part that goes obviously in the lathe. So and you gotta be careful. Like I say, you do your light. Don't get too carried away so you're not going too deep, and try to get it fairly uniformed. Because then I'll just cut this piece off once I get it sanded down about where I think I'm going to need it. So probably I'll come in and I can't really show you guys sanding on my lathe because it's in the porch. So boy, it's going to be a beautiful piece of wood. A beautiful seam ripper. I've been wanting to do one for a long time. I just haven't got around to doing it. And actually, you can put your thumb right here, actually. So instead of right there. And it's actually fairly comfortable. I wasn't 100% sure until I started moving wood, taking away the wood, to see just about how so that will work actually. You just want to try to get it thinned down. I mean, so let me go, I'll pause the video for a second. Let me go and put it on my lathe, sand it down a little bit, and I'll come back and show you kind of the shaping, and then I can start carving it again to where I need to. Yeah, because if you look at it, you can really see how it's taken that, splintering that knot. So I'll be right back. So here I sanded it a little bit. And if you watch when it turns, you can tell there's the knots coming up, because so I'm going to go ahead and yeah, I'll go ahead and see if I can get a little bit of that knot out. That's why you just never know how it's going to come out. You don't. That's one I think I've always liked about, especially with the ink blenders. They're also different since I carve them by hand. I mean, there's no set pattern or anything. It's just how it turns out. Well, plus I did change it a little bit because I moved my knot where my thumb where the knot was, and now it's going to be down here, so I'll probably take out just a little bit. Yeah. yeah, and this one right here. I'll come in, I'm going to take some more of this off. So I went ahead and I cut off the end. This is how it looks. This is sunk in more, like I said, more than the knot. And I went ahead and cut the end off. But I wanted to do a little shaping too with, you can see where there's knot is. You can kind of see there's a little, this is a little bit higher. And so this is 80 grit. Because, yeah, so make this just a tiny bit. Because that's the bottom. I do like the thumb there, like this actually. That really fits really good. So I'm going to keep it just like that. This part, not too worried about the thickness of it. But so that's the thumb is the top. I'm going to go ahead and come in. It's just easier to shape it with sandpaper now, and I don't have all those huge knife nicks that I'm going to have to try to sand out. So kinda. Okay. Over here.
But we don't. Cool.
I sand that down just a little bit. It's a little uneven right there, so.
You know what?
Uh-huh.
You don't.
Uh-huh. I'm just trying to make it fairly, you know, straight and even, I guess is the best way to put it. Darn it. So, that's probably pretty good right there. Probably leave this part really where it is, and because I mean that's pretty good right there as far as, so just I mean, just get the... Put it in your face. And I'll look at it from all different angles, you know. I mean, really? Okay. Make sure I have it. Trying to make sure and keep the top of it up, so. Just get it where you want it. Actually feels pretty good, really. Sister's chasing Wilbur dude. Tell you, Lucy, she sure does love Wilbur. That's her buddy, I tell you. They play all the time. And so do her and Gracie. But boy, her and Wilbur are just buddies. Boy, this is going to be a beautiful piece of wood when it's all done. And I could, if this was longer, I could have left a piece here, and once I sanded it, I could have switched and put this in the lathe and then sanded this. But to me, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, to sand it a little bit by hand, around it just a little bit. As long as it's fairly. Get it a little rounded a little bit, you know, makes life easier. Well, plus it will look nice all the way, you know. Finally got my Lyoderm patches, and then got some Happy Mail for some patches. It was the sweetest thing. And they've been a blessing. Ones I got in the mail are extra large, and they're like double the size of ones I get at the pharmacy. But it was
you can purchase
on Amazon, right?
Amazon.
Yeah, on Amazon. Lidocaine, they're Lyoderm lidocaine patches. Not too much of a thing. Okay. This is 100. I got rid of all the nicks and stuff. When I had it on the lathe, I went ahead and sanded it by hand to get some of the nicks out of the knot right there. And it is a little thicker than, but you know, I mean, I have bigger hands, and it'd be a little bit easier. I don't think it's going to make my hands hurt nearly as much as a plastic seam ripper would. And it's always fun to make your own tools, you know. I think so.
I think it is too. I mean,
It makes it more
fun to
special.
use them.
Yeah, it does, you know. That's one reason why I love making those ink blender handles, just because it helps others craft longer and doesn't hurt their hands nearly as much as others, and that makes me feel that's the way I serve God. I enjoy doing them, and I enjoy being able to help others who do have hand issues. I mean, it's no fun when you have arthritis. Luckily mine, it used to be super painful. Now it's not so much. They say the longer it goes, the less painful it is, and pretty soon it just fuses. So, but I'm already 54. I don't know how much it would fuse, truthfully. And they don't hurt nearly as the thumb. I have the really huge. My mom actually, I got those from Mom. She had those too. She had hers fixed when she was pretty young. I love the smell of aspen wood. It has a very distinctive smell. You know, one of the largest organisms, I think it's the largest organism either in the United States or the Western Hemisphere, is aspen grove. Because an aspen grove is one organism. It's all one. And I think that was so neat. And I'd love to go up in the fall and look at leaf peeping. And so there's Shorty. You can't see her. She's on the other side of my bucket. She's so funny. I sure do adore that little girl. She was so happy when I got home, and she was just yelling.
She's hilarious.
She is the funniest cat I think we've ever had. She is quite the baby. Aren't you, Lucy Lou? Okay. Here.
That's kind of fun. I like it. You know what?
Yeah.
It's really sandy.
It is sandy. So this is a wet sponge. It's a damp sponge. I learned this in wood class. But if you go and wet your project, not soak it, but wow, that knot's going to be so pretty. Oh. Look at that, huh? What do you think, guys?
They love it. I can tell.
I think it's neat. I mean, could be, I don't know. I mean, it could come down a little bit right there, but I don't know. I mean, because that's where my broken, you know, the finger I cut on the table saw is. Right there. So right here. Let's see here. That's the whole thing. You just don't know until you really start. So I think I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, kind of right there. It kind of hits my hand. I'll be right back. Well, yeah, I don't have my glove. Well, you would imagine so. It's not on the top or necessarily the bottom. And it probably wouldn't be a big deal if I didn't cut that finger. So, for those of you who don't know, I cut my finger on a table saw last year. And it hurt. Well, it didn't hurt at all, actually. But, like the bones actually hitting the skin. So just come in and just take a little bit off. And that's the thing, with being personal, yeah, it helps if you fit it, fit it to your hand. You want it to be comfortable. So, I can get. But when you wet your wood, it actually helps raise the sand marks. It raises the grain, so it helps getting a better finish. And you don't have to use like 600, 700, 800. The jumps in the grit can be higher, wider, so you wet it. So. But yeah, I haven't never cut my finger carving. I've come close, but I do wear a glove whenever I carve. It just isn't worth it to take that chance. Oh, much better. Yeah. Maybe a little bit right there. You just don't know until you start really putting it in your hand how it's going to work. Yeah, it's not going to be like round because I am taking some off here to make it a little bit thinner than it will be on the other side of it. But you want it to feel right, That does make a difference. I like that. Still think that, I don't know, I just think this needs to be taken down more. And I'll put this in tongue oil, and then I will, I'll dip it several times in tongue oil. I also have polyurethane spray that I can spray it to help. Tongue oil does affect, it seems to get darker with sunlight. So, it's kind of nice to be polyurethane and it's a UV resistant. Then it doesn't really affect it like if it was just straight tongue oil. Doesn't matter, it's still beautiful even when it gets darker. It still doesn't distract from the wood, I don't think. Oh yeah, that's just about right actually. Still feels a little bit right there, but I think it's fine. So, the next one is 220. Really got... I love it watching it clear up with the higher grits and just seeing the details that come out in it. I think it's so pretty. I love those. I just call it the cat's eye effect, but I just absolutely love that. I think it's so beautiful. Once, and I've had white one that had that. Well, that one we gave away had a cat's eye all the way. The whole thing was, it was the neatest, beautiful ink blender, but it was more, it didn't have a lot of different colors. It was mainly just white, because aspen is a white wood. So, wow, I like it. I think it's going to be beautiful when it's all done. Even, I'm going to go ahead and sand this down a little bit more at the end. Probably go ahead and pause the video. But I'm going to take it a little bit higher, or coarser grit. I'm going to come down and just go a little bit more. Okay, I went ahead and got it down to the piece of copper. So this is 220, I think I told you guys. So that's the 400. Getting pretty. Probably need a new one, but just haven't got around doing it. I read a thing on Facebook one time. I don't know, it's been a little bit ago, about something his father told him or something like that. That what was it? Worn out or used paper is just a finer grit. And, you know, I thought that was kind of a neat thing to think of it that way, but I guess it really is. Yeah, that piece still hits my finger, but I think it'll be fine. I mean, it's not bad. Okay guys, I went ahead and I still got more sanding to do, but it's just sanding. So we might as well just stop the video here, and I'll get a picture next time Shell does a video, because I'm going to finish sanding it and everything today. But next time Shell does a video, I'll have her show it to you, and I'll have it all dipped and ready to go. It's a little thick for Shell, but of course I got a little bit bigger hands, so it's just right for me. So I think it's going to be nice to use. I really do. I don't think it's going to be too bad at all. But yeah, it's going to be a beautiful once it's all sanded and dipped. So, well, we're going to let you guys go. Thank you. Please give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Welcome to all our new YouTube family members. We do appreciate it. And we will see you in the next video. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Love you. Tutzines.
Tutzines. Bye.